Hi everyone, and welcome back to the George Collection. I'm Rachel, Right Side Blonde. Today I'm going to bring you the November 1996 issue with Barbra Streisand on the cover. In particular, I wanted to bring you an article called The Perfect President Discovered. This was a poll of sorts, and it was a people's choice poll of what people wanted in their future president. I thought this was a really interesting poll from 1996 of what Americans wanted in their future president, and I'd be really interested to see if we redid this poll what the results would be. The article starts out, while Clinton and Dole spend millions trying to figure out what America wants in a candidate, here's the real answer. The polling firm Bloom and Weprin Associates conducted a specially commissioned survey of more than 800 people across the country, asking them to design their ideal president. Armed with their responses, one of the country's leading executive search firms, Russell Reynolds Associates, tracked down the individual who comes closest to matching the ideal presidential profile. There were a lot of questions asked in this poll, but I wanted to highlight some of the answers and some of the results that I found interesting. On the second page of this poll, it says your ideal president would more likely be 72% said cheerful with a good sense of humor. Would your ideal president consider himself or herself to be more clear-headed, warm-hearted, or not sure? And 75% of Americans said clear-headed. How would your ideal president make decisions? 81% said talking with others. Your ideal president would prefer to be described as decisive, cautious, or not sure. 49% decisive, 48% said cautious. Could you vote for a candidate who did not believe in God? 75% of Americans said no. Would your ideal president have served in the military? 65% said yes. Could you vote for a candidate who had ever used illegal drugs? 55% of Americans said no. Could you vote for a candidate who had been in therapy with a psychiatrist or a psychologist? And 50% said yes, 45% said no. Would your ideal president be married or single? 81% said married. Would your ideal president have children? 80% said yes. Could you vote for a candidate who had been divorced? 90% of Americans said yes. In the case of issues, which of the following issues would be the top priority for your ideal president? 25% of Americans said economy and jobs. Then it went down to education at 12%, Social Security and Medicare at 12%, healthcare at 10%, crime at 9%, budget deficit 9%, taxes 7%, abortion 5%, welfare 3%, and national defense 3%. Your ideal president would keep popular programs even if it meant taxes would not be lowered, 52%, and 42% said lower taxes even if that meant cuts in popular programs. Would your ideal president favor or oppose capital punishment? 72% said favor. Would your ideal president favor or oppose a ban on assault weapons? 73% said favor. How would your ideal president deal with existing affirmative action programs? 53% said modify them. This was a really interesting one. Would your ideal president favor or oppose prayer in public schools? 66% said they favor that. Would your ideal president favor or oppose reducing the number of legal immigrants entering the United States? 67% said favor. The next question said, would your ideal president have voted mostly for Democrats or mostly for Republicans? 46% said Democrats and 34% said Republicans. I would really enjoy seeing another poll taken like the one from 1996 to see where Americans sit today in terms of how we feel about prayer in school and assault weapons and all those kind of things, just to see where we're at and how we've changed over time. One of the most interesting things that I took from this poll is that the issues of economy and jobs, education, Social Security, and all those things were at the top in 1996, and I think they would still be at the top today. But today we're spending time on things that didn't even make the list in 1996. I don't see social justice issues anywhere on this list. And it seems like today that's a huge, if not the top priority of our president and this current administration. Whether it's right or wrong, I'm not making that distinction. I'll let you guys do that. But I just wanted to point out that some of the issues that we're facing today weren't even on the list from 1996. And that most people would want prayer in school. 66% want their president to support prayer in public school in 1996. I hope you enjoyed this George Collection video, and I hope it made you ponder a few things and ask yourself, what is our priority as a country, and how has it changed from 1996 to 2023? That does it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time.
Magazine, George, which is a hoot of a magazine. I thought you were a lawyer.
I was.
What happened?
Well, we decided, actually taking a cue from folks like yourself and you around the 1992 election, that there was an opportunity here to change the definition of a political magazine. Certainly the way Americans were accessing information about politics and politicians was changing. Candidates were appearing on late night talk shows, on talk radio, on sitcoms, and there was a kind of a leveling process, and while the rest of media clearly had caught up with that, we felt that political magazines per se hadn't.
Your mother was a hell of an editor at Doubleday.
That's what I hear.
Would she have liked George?
I think she would have.